And I'm trying to think if I need anything else. I don't think I really need anything else. Yeah. Let's get into it. All right, guys. Welcome to some of the biggest news of the summer for at least RLCS or Rocket League in general. Big details going into Season 4 of the RLCS. They're adding a whole nother division. As you can see, this fancy logo behind the Twitch chat over there. Rocket League Rival Series. And this is a big deal for Rocket League in general. It's more about trying to keep teams together, keep the entire scene stable, and there's some pros, some cons to it, but we'll get into that as we go through the details of the season. I kind of tried to do it as simply as I could with my fancy PowerPoint slides because I'm terrible at video editing and all that. So we're just going to get into it. And if you have any questions for the guys that are watching on Twitch, feel free to throw them in chat. If I miss them the first go around, just throw an ad at me. But if I miss them, there'll be time for questions at the end as well as we go over the actual article and all that stuff. So let's get into it. First off, 4 open qualifiers. We got Nexus Gaming, PRL, Shift Pro League, and Minor League Doubles. They are all getting 1 qualifier each. Now, one of these is actually on a weekday. Let's see what weekday it actually is. I forgot to look that up. So the 22nd and 23rd is a Tuesday and a Wednesday. So assuming North America's Tuesday, which I think it is, and then 23rd is the Wednesday for Europe. So if you have to play in the weekdays, hopefully that works for you. You still have to play in the weekends anyway to get into the actual thing, but we'll get into that in a second. So 32 teams from 4 community orgs, which is a lot of fun to get these community orgs involved. I think that's a great move. My only gripe, well, first, teams can only participate in 2 of these out of the 4 to kind of spread out the teams a bit so it doesn't get too chaotic on these community orgs. And then, of course, yeah, top 32 advance, so we'll have 128 teams. Now, if you do qualify in one of them, you don't participate in any of the others. You're not allowed to, so keep that in mind as we go forward here. But yeah, there is one on the weekdays. I'm not sure what order they're doing these in yet. I don't think that was announced. So we'll see. But pretty cool news. The only thing I don't really like is I wish these were a little bit more exciting. When 32 teams are advancing from each qualifier, I feel like there's not going to be a lot of excitement into watching these because we probably won't get a lot of good matchups. Now, if they do play these out, which is possible, we're not sure the details on that, if there's prizing involved and all that stuff, then it gets a little bit more exciting. But I wish it was like top 8. Because then the play-in, which is going to be on September 2nd and 3rd, is 128 teams. That is double the teams that we usually have on our last day of qualifiers. And my main gripe with this entire system is the whole main complaint of last season was to not have one day matter so much. Yet it still does here. It's exactly the same format. The only thing is the basically first weekend of qualifiers is broken up into 4 different community orgs, which again I love, but I wish there was more of like a points-based system, so maybe some teams actually just auto-qualify, don't even have to play that play-in day, maybe like 2 of the spots at least, maybe 4, because we already have 2 auto-bid spots, or have it be like 8 teams advance from each qualifier. It narrows it down a lot. We'll have 32 teams left, and it gets really close-knit then. Plus, it'll give these community orgs some really exciting games when teams are trying to advance to that point. We'll see a lot of skilled matchups. With 32 teams advancing, we're not going to see that many skilled matchups because it's like, at best, you're going to have a 32 versus a 33 seed to make it into the last day of qualifiers. One good thing is, though, it's going to be a lot of good publicity and a lot of feels good for the players in Rocket League because they all have a goal now to reach that play-in day. And last time when we moved the open qualifiers from 1 day or 1 weekend to 2 weekends, it was really cool to see like all these tweets coming out from even lesser players, like, sweet, like, we made it to the top 64, we made it to the next week, and that was a big goal for a lot of these players. So I think that is good, but I think it's just a little bit too broad. 128 teams is a ton, and honestly, when it still comes down to the final day, I wish it was down to at least 32 teams, or we go into a point system or something like that. But overall, it's really cool to see these community orgs getting involved and getting a chance to show off what's going on anyway. And Cloud's in here as well. The goal was to split the qual so that we wouldn't have 3,000 plus teams on a single day. Makes sense. That's like, it was insanely hard for the guys at Smash to work that out. It's going to be double elim. You can still make it as a top 32, and it won't count as like a loss on you, like if you came through the lower bracket. Everything gets reset on the 128 teams day. My main complaint is 128 teams double elim is going to be a really long day. It's actually more than double if everyone gets reset. So there's like one extra round. So that's going to be a really long day for these players. And honestly, like, I think we could have narrowed it down just a bit more. Like, even if it was 16 teams advance from each qualifier, I feel like 32 might be a little bit too many teams, but nonetheless, it should be some fun tweets going out from lesser-known players. Just really excited to be part of the play-in, that grand final day, basically, to see if you can qualify for the RLCS. My other complaint, like, not really complaint, but it all comes down to one final day, obviously, which, again, not a huge fan of. But now, like, this qualifier is so important, because now we have, as we go to the next slide here, we should just go over there now. We're going to have two divisions. Top 8 include auto bids, so it'll be top 6 most likely, depending on teams if they separate or whatever. They move on to the RLCS. The next 8 move on to the RLRS, which is the rival series. So this day is extremely important because after the season, there is no way to go from open qualifier straight to the RLCS unless you just join a team that was already in the RLCS. So this qualifier is going to be so important, but it still comes down to the final day. So that's the only thing I'm not a huge fan of, but still, I'm really excited to see a lot more community orgs getting in, and we're going to see a lot more players happy about making it to the play-ins, so that should be fun. But now we get into the meat of the entire season. We have the top 8 move to the RLCS, next 8 move to the RLRS. Now, there's some big changes between the two. League play, of course, it'll be 5 weeks in a row. The RLRS, I can't say it for some reason, will be on Fridays, and then NA, of course, Saturday, Europe on Sundays. So Friday's going to be a really long day. It's going to be NA and Europe packed in there somewhere. So that should be a fun day to watch some Rocket League. But it starts on September 8th, 5 weeks in a row for league play. So they'll both have the same format for that. The only thing that's different is the RLCS playoffs are October 16th and 17th. And then the RLRS does not have a playoff system at all. So we'll get into that in a second. So it's pretty similar to just top 8 make RLCS. Now just the next 8 teams also move over to the rival series. So that should be a fun watch to see these guys, like lesser known teams, try and grow and all that stuff. And I think my thing broke. We'll see if this works. We'll go over here. There we go. We got it to work. So bids for Season 5. Now, this is where everything changes. This is the big turning point for esports, for the RLCS, for Rocket League. Top 6 teams in the RLCS, so all the playoff teams, they are safe. They move on to RLCS Season number 5. Then the top 2 teams from the RLRS. Now, remember, there's no playoff, so it all comes down to league play games, which is very, very important. So league play is going to be so important there. Every single game matters so much because there is no playoff. They will play in the promotion tournament. It's called promotion relegation, but I just wrote promotion, so it's shorter. Then the bottom 2 from the RLCS that did not make playoffs, they will also play in the promotion. Now, I love the dates of this tournament. It's between that long wait that we have between regional championships and the world championships. Like, it's going to be an in-between weekend where we get to see these teams battle it out to see who makes it to Season 5. So it'll be 4 teams into that. Top 2 from that will advance to the RLCS Season number 5. So we could just see the same exact teams from the RLCS moving on to Season number 5 as well. So we'll see how that plays out. The RLRS will have their 2 teams coming in, but they could both lose in the double elimination format, and then they would still be out. They would keep their spot in the RLRS as well as the next 2. So it would be top 4 will keep their spots in the RLRS. And that includes if one of these bottom teams from the RLCS, they lose, they will get a spot as well in the RLRS. So that leaves 4 teams. I think this is my last slide. 4 teams that are clinched for that. We'll have 8 teams clinched for RLCS, and then for Season 5, there'll be open qualifiers for only 4 spots that go to the RLRS, and there will be no entry into the RLCS. The only way from now on will be from the RLRS. Now, I could see pros and cons of this both ways. Pros, obviously, teams and orgs will know that like they can keep a team like in the top league pretty easily, like as long as like they're playing well. You know, top 6 isn't the most difficult thing, but you know, competition is fierce, so that'll be good for bigger orgs to come in because they feel safer. It's still in the players' control though. Two-thirds of the roster has to stay put to stay in the RLCS or even the RLRS, so players will still have control there, which is pretty nice. And then, of course, if something happens where a team disbands, the way it's going to work is the other teams in the promotion series, like third place, would then get a spot. Like if a team left from the RLCS, then fourth place, and then so on and so forth down the RLRS league. I doubt we'll see a lot of teams leaving, but that could happen. And then the other teams will move up, like say the 5th or 6th spot from the RLRS will get an automatic clinching spot. Say 2 teams disband in front of them, so there'll still be 4 open spots for a qualifier. So that's the main differences there. Now, of course, it's a little bit harder to get into the RLCS. There won't be just one way, like, oh, if I just go through the open qualifiers, I can just make it right in with a dream day. So that's a little bit of a problem. But I think overall, this is healthier for the scene, and players can still be subs for the RLCS teams and try and prove their worth. And who knows, maybe they become a starter on that team the next season, because again, it's only 2/3 rule. So say like Scrub Killa, for instance, he can't play this season, but next season, I think next season is when he can play. It might be season 6. But either way, like he might just get a starting spot on one of those teams that's in the RLCS because he's so good. So they might just throw him right up. They might bench someone or kick him off the team or whatever, and then they'll have to find a spot somewhere else. So the only thing that's a little bit worrying is for players' sake. It is player control, but when you're on a team, right now it's so important for teams to find players you like to play with, because you might be playing with them for years to come with this new system, because you might be successful, but if you hate the other guy, it might be a little bit hard to play. And then also, being a third wheel is extremely dangerous on these teams. Like not everyone has a choice of being a third wheel or not, but if you are a third wheel, there's always that chance that they might swap over to another player, which was possible before as well. But just keep that in mind. Like if you feel like you're a third wheel on your team, that you could be replaced, which is not the greatest, but that's esports. Like it's always a brutal game when everyone's trying to become the best. So keep that in mind. So this should be really exciting to see. We're going to go over to the normal screen. I think this was the last one. Yeah, that was the last one. So we'll go over here. F11 this, I guess. And yeah, we'll just look this over. If you guys have any questions, I know Cloudfuel's in the chat as well. He's probably answering some here or there. So feel free to ask any questions if you have any. But yeah. Cloudfuel is saying the RLRS will be in studio, introducing new casters and a new setup. So, and only 3 matches per region, so not every single game will be streamed, which I think is probably the way to go there, because there might be some games that don't matter as much towards the end, especially if like league play, there's you know, like you have to be a top 2 spot to have a chance to move on. Top 4 though is still like a goal for these teams to just stay in the RLRS, but probably won't be as many important games, so that should be pretty cool to see. Let's see what else Cloud is saying. Breaking the news. All right, feel free to throw some ats my way if you guys have any questions. But like, I think overall, like this is a great step for Rocket League. The only thing I think is weird, it's like it's a transitional year. Or season, I should say, for the qualifier system. I feel like the qualifier system wasn't, isn't perfect. It still comes down to that final day. But this is the last time we'll really have that system. Then after that, it's going to be all about being consistent in the RLRS if you want to make it to the CS. And then, of course, if you're in the CS, you have to be consistent there as well to stay in the CS. So, like after this qualifier, it's not really going to come down to one day. Like, there still will be promotion and relegation where it does come down to one day, but you kind of put yourself in that spot to have a chance at success, and at some point it has to come down to one day. I just wish it didn't have to come down to one day for all of these teams in the open qualifiers, but that's fine. Like, it's not the end of the world, and I'm really excited for this season. Like, I think it'll be a lot of fun to see these teams, see what teams form out of this as well. Like, maybe some teams are staying together because they're successful. Who knows? Maybe some of these teams just don't really like each other, and they're like, I don't know if I want to stay with these guys if I have to play with them year in and year out. It's very possible that could happen. Of course, we probably won't hear about that too much. They might just split and we won't find out. But should be interesting, to say the least. Oh, my mic is speaking? Okay, let me fix that. Good old things that automatically change my mic. Dun, dun, dun. All right, give me 1 second, guys. Or maybe it's on the wrong source. All right. Back that up. Okay, that should be better. Let's see what else. So, let me know if that's better. It might not be the right sentence. Things get changed all the time for some odd reason. But that should be a little bit better. Cloud Fuel cranking out this stability paragraph, which you can't really see on stream, but it's all about being stable in the Rocket League scene, which is really important. And I think it's going to help a lot of these guys feel like they have a chance to make this a career in the RLCS, at least, where like they feel pretty safe if they make it there, that as long as they put in the work, they have a really good chance at continuing that success year in and year out. So that should be really fun to see. I'm really excited for that. And honestly, like us as casters, I think pretty much all of us, we all want to see these players like have success, be able to not be like, oh man, it comes down to one day every single time, be so stressed out. And all that. And we want to see these players get paid, obviously, from the bigger orgs. So, really exciting to see that. But it's going to be a lot of Rocket League. Friday, Saturday, and Sundays for this entire September, part of October as well. Should be a lot of fun to watch. And even August to check out the open qualifiers. Cloud, I don't know if you answer this or if you can answer this. Are they playing out the open quals all the way through? And is there any real reason to, besides seeding, I guess? For tournament performance, or are they stopping at 32? And OC is run by Throwdown. Top 2 teams from their season will go to Season 4 land. So it'll be the same system that they've had forever. Or for one season, I guess I should say. It ends at top 32? Okay. Yeah, that's my only concern, is it might be a little bit... Okay, so they're just stopping at 32. That's my main concern of, like, we won't see very good matchups, but we'll get to see some of these lesser-known teams battle it out and try for some spots. So that'll be fun to feature those guys. Okay, cool. If anyone else has any questions? Yeah, makes for a really long day. Yeah, that makes sense, for sure. But at the same time, like, hey, like, the main goal is to make top 32, so... All right. But yeah, like this season I'm really excited for. We've seen consistency from a lot of teams as well. It's just those qualifier days. I would hate to be playing in those from past seasons. So I can't wait till this season's over with qualifiers, and then we have some safety nets for these players. So it should be a lot of fun to watch. But we've seen a lot of lands as well, like this entire summer. It's been really exciting. If anyone has any questions about the article, like, I can always run down the article somewhere and let you know. But yeah, should be a lot of fun. I'm really excited. I hope you guys are excited. And yeah, if there's not too many more questions, I'll probably end the YouTube portion, and then maybe we'll play some games here for a little while. Yeah, Season 4. Big things coming. Season 5, even bigger things coming, where stability across the board. So should be fun. And of course, World Championships in November. Cloud said before November 20th. So that leaves, let's see what dates those are. So before November 20th. So that leaves three different weekend possibilities. So it'll be before Thanksgiving. And yeah, I'm super excited for that. As always, World Championships are always great. So LAN will be a date location should be announced by league play start. So that'll be good. You'll have time to get some of your flights or tickets ready. When do you think the Asian players will be good enough for the RLCS with this new free-to-play thing? I don't know. It depends how much they like it. Like, it really comes down to popularity in the region. If, like, China doesn't like the game, then there won't be that many players getting that good. Yeah, they should... I would give them... Like, it came out, what, a couple months ago? Or it's coming out? I can't remember if it actually came out or not. I think it just came out recently, like 2 months ago. Give them another year, and they'll probably have some players at least able to compete. That's if they get serious about the game. So, who knows? Also, won't interfere with BlizzCon. Okay, cool. All right. RLRS is the second division King Nano for the Rocket League Championship Series. It'll basically be like the amateur series. It'll be the 8 teams in the normal championship series and 8 teams below them in the rival trying to play for a chance to be into the championship series. And that'll be the only entry into the RLCS after this season. So really big deal there. I'm going to cut off YouTube here. Yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate it. And we'll see you next time. Bye. Let's get some games in.